In this video, we will be solving a numerical problem on dynamic force analysis of vertical reciprocating engines without considering the weight and inertia effect of the connecting rod. We'll be solving by using analytical method. So let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Dr. V. Jayakumar. I am making lecture videos for the benefit of mechanical engineering students. If this is your first time and not yet subscribed, please press the subscribe button and also the bell icon so that to get notified all my forthcoming videos. So if you could be able to watch this video till the end, you should be able to solve a numerical problem wherein we can find various forces acting on a vertical reciprocating engine. I strongly recommend you to watch the derivation of expressions for various forces, which I have given the link above. Because in the derivation part only, all the underlying concepts are involved. So it's imperative for you to know the derivation part so that to appreciate better the solutions of all numerical problems. Okay, there you are, some recap. So these are the notations that I have been using while solving this problem. These are some expressions that we have derived earlier, especially this equation, acceleration of the piston, would be more useful for us while solving this particular problem. These are the various forces acting on an IC engine. All the lines that are drawn in red are the various force components, which we are going to discuss now. So while solving the problem, these are the notations I use. There you are. This is the numerical problem which we'll be solving now. Shall we read the problem carefully? A single cylinder vertical engine has a bore of 300 mm and a stroke of 400 mm. Connecting rod is 1000 millimeter long. Mass of the reciprocating part is 140 kilogram. On the expansion stroke, with the crank at 30 degree from the top dead center, the gas pressure is 0.7 megapascal. If the engine runs at 250 RPM, determine net force acting on the piston, resultant load on the gudgeon pin, thrust on the cylinder wall, then finally one more question. Is that clear? Let us identify the given data. What is the bore? Bore is nothing but outer dia of the piston. Stroke of piston. In vertical engine, stroke is nothing but distance covered between top dead center to bottom dead center. Whenever they have given you the value of stroke, immediately you should be understanding that they are giving you the crank radius data indirectly, because stroke is equal to 2 times the radius of the crank. Then connecting rod length is given, which I call it as a small letter L. Mass of the reciprocating parts are given, which I call it as M suffix R. During the expansion stroke, when crank angle is 30 degree, when crank has moved 30 degree from top dead center, they want the answer. When theta varies, all the force component values would be varying. What they wanted is when theta equal to 30 degree, they need the required data. Is that clear? So let us freeze the vertical engine at theta equal to 30 degree. Then let us analyze the problem. Okay. When crank is at equal to 30 degree, they have given the pressure on the cover end, which is given as 0.7 megapascal. Of course, RPM of the engine is given. Is it okay? These are the given data. Clear? What are the required data? The required data are net force acting on the piston. Of course, it is known as piston effort FP. Resultant load on the gudgeon pin, which is nothing but FQ. Then thrust on the walls, FN. Then they have asked one more data, which is nothing but the speed above which other things remaining same, the gudgeon pin loads would be reversed in direction. So we'll get back to that point later. Okay, these are the given data. A megapascal, mega means 10 to the power 6. Pascal, 1 Pascal equal to 1 Newton per meter square. Shall we go to the solution? Yes. Before going to that, let us find some general things which we normally have to find anyhow while solving the problem. First one is n equal to L by R. Then what is the next one? Is equal to 2 pi n by 60. Then what else you need? When theta is equal to 30 degree, I need to find phi value. So these three are important. Okay. How to find equation relating theta and phi. So I could write r sine theta is equal to L sine phi. Sine phi is equal to sine theta L by R, otherwise sine theta by n. So let us substitute the value. From this I can find the required answer phi. So phi comes around 5.74 degree for me. Okay. To start anything, the starting point will be a piston effort. What is the piston effort? Net force acting on the piston. Let us take the diagram here. What are the forces acting on this piston? One is force exerted by the gas pressure during the expansion stroke. That is known as net load, FL. From theta 0 degree to 180 degree, we call it as TDC to BDC, piston accelerates. When piston accelerates, inertia force will be acting in the opposite direction to that of the piston movement. So inertia force will be acting upward. Okay. Here we have one more force which is always acting vertically downwards. Whether the piston is in acceleration or retardation, that force is the weight of the reciprocating engine. So this needs to be taken into account. We know that piston effort during acceleration is net load minus inertia force minus frictional force if it is known, or weight of the reciprocating parts. Am I right? So this term is applicable only for vertical engine. Okay? So we got the formula. Shall we go ahead and find FL and Fi? Yes. Net load on the piston. We know that net load is equal to pressure multiplied by area of cross section of the piston. So they have given the pressure. I think this is 0.7 megapascal multiplied by pi by 4.3 square. Why? The area is equal to pi by 4 d square, right? On simplification, I will get the FL value. There you are. This is the value of FL. Is that clear? Right. Let us find the inertia force of the piston. Inertia force of the piston is equal to mass of the reciprocating parts and acceleration of the reciprocating parts. We know the formula for acceleration of reciprocating parts. All right. I think we knew all the parameters involved. Just let us substitute there. So substituting them, we must be getting inertia force. Yes, we have got a inertia force value now. So knowing the FL value and the inertia force value, I think now we can substitute them in our piston effort formula, which we have derived before. So now from this, I can write 4480.1 minus Fi is 1853.898. Whether have they given frictional resistance? I don't think so. So you need not to consider it. What is the reciprocating mass they are given? This is 140 kilogram. So 140 multiplied by 9.81. So on simplification, I get the value like this. So what is the next thing? Next we have to find the load on the gudgeon pin. Do you know what is a gudgeon pin? That is also known as piston pin. Do not think pin means some other shape. Please understand here. This is the one which locks smaller end of the connecting rod with the piston. Can you see there? This horizontal fellow is what we call it as gudgeon pin. So what is the force acting on the gudgeon pin is nothing but Fq. So we are to determine the value of thrust acting along the connecting rod. Okay. So knowing the value of Fp and this value phi, we can very well find the Fq value. Am I right? So from this we can write Fq is equal to Fp by cos phi. So from this I can get Fq as 32477.3 Newton. Thrust on the cylinder walls, we have to find F suffix n. F suffix n is nothing but, again using the same trigonometry, this vertical force is what we call it as Fn. So we know that Fn is equal to Fp into tan phi. So from this I could get 3247 Newton is the Fn value. Now let us understand the last subdivision of the question. They asked to determine the speed above which gudgeon pin load will be reversed in direction. Just now we have said the Fq will be the gudgeon pin load. Okay, at what speed Fq load will be reversed in direction? So let me call the new speed as N1. So when Fq is negative, then its direction will be reversed. Am I right? When Fq will be negative, Fq will be negative only when Fp is negative. So when piston effort changes its direction, Fq direction also will change automatically. When Fp becomes negative, Fq will be automatically will become negative. That is the logic. What is the formula for Fp? We know that Fp in this case is Fl minus Fi plus weight. Okay. In this equation, this will become 0 or negative when this inertia force value is greater than or equal to sum of net load on the piston plus weight of the reciprocating engine. Yes, this is the condition. So what I will do the expansion of this equation, nothing else. How can I expand this equation? So they have said all other terms remain same except the speed now. So what is the inertia force value? Mass of the piston multiplied by omega 1 square r cos theta plus cos 2 theta by n is equal to, I put it equal, this is the minimum speed. So speed must be above that speed. Okay, fine. On simplification, omega 1 is 43.36 radians per second. What is the formula for omega? Omega is equal to 2 pi n1 by 60. From this, I can find the n1 RPM. Simplification, I am getting the answer 414 RPM. So the answer is speed should be above 414 RPM. Is that clear? I have given a problem for practice. Try it at home and check the answer. That's it in this video. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.